I was lost in my own world, chasing a feeling I hadn't let myself feel in way too long. My breaths were quick, my skin flushed, my mind wandering somewhere I knew I shouldn't go. The room felt thick with silence, laced with need, the air heavy with loneliness and aching longing. And then the door creaked open. I froze. Clara. Time stopped. He stood there in the doorway, wide, the door still half open behind him. My cousin Leo, 25, my uncle's boy, 6'2" now, lean but strong, with shoulders that had filled out since the last time I saw him at 20. I snatched the sheet to cover myself, heart pounding like a drum, but not before he saw everything. I couldn't say a word. He didn't move. For what felt like 5 full seconds, we stared at each other like strangers, caught in a secret. We were both stunned. Then he said something I'll never forget. It's too much for one hand. Do you want help? What happened after that changed everything. Before I continue, thank you to my raw, honest, beautiful subscribers. You are why I keep telling these stories, the ones full of shame, heat, confusion, and sometimes truth that's hard to admit. If you're new or still thinking of joining this wild little world, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. It's all the fuel I need to keep giving you these untamed weekly confessions. Comment below as the story unfolds. I read them all. Now, back to the moment that turned my world inside out. My name is Clara. I'm 42 years old and live alone in a quiet corner of Vermont. My marriage ended 3 years ago after 14 years of lies and a man who never really saw me, not mentally, not emotionally, and definitely not physically. Since then, I've had the occasional night here and there, but nothing that mattered. Just echoes, nothing that filled the emptiness. Then came summer. My uncle Marcus asked if his son Leo could stay with me while working a warehouse job nearby just for 2 months. It would give him a place to sleep and keep him around family. I said yes. The first few weeks were normal. A bit awkward at breakfast, sharing groceries, swapping harmless family gossip. Leo was respectful, quiet, always pitching in around the house. He had grown into a man, but in my head, he was still that young man who once helped me carry moving boxes upstairs until that night. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was aching inside. Weeks had passed since I'd felt anything at all. I thought he's asleep. The door's locked. I needed a release, but I forgot. The lock had been loose for months. I never got it fixed. And now I had just been seen in my most private exposed moment by the last person I'd ever imagined. I spent the rest of the night buried under the covers, body tense with shame and disbelief. But the shock didn't stop there. The next evening, Leo knocked on my bedroom door, not loudly, just once. I opened it slowly, expecting embarrassment. Instead, he stepped inside, closed the door gently behind him, and said, "Clara, we need to talk about last night." My chest pounded, my palms froze. He sat down at the edge of the bed, met my eyes, and said, "It wasn't just what I saw, it's what I felt. Want to help you if you'll let me." The air felt like it had a heartbeat. Leo was just inches from my knees, watching me like I was someone new. His eyes were steady, his body calm, but behind it all was something hungry, something bold and dangerous. I sat frozen, unsure whether to scream, cry, or tell him to get out. But instead, I asked the only thing that made sense. "Why are you saying this?" He exhaled and said, "Because the way you touched yourself, I've never felt heat like that. It woke something in me. I want to take care of you." My throat closed up. My heart raced. One part of me knew this was wrong. But the other part, the part that had been neglected for years, was wide awake. I didn't see a boy anymore. I saw a man, confident, composed. Still, I stood up, tried to push it away. "This is insane," I said. "You're my cousin. You can't say this." He stood too, and calmly said, "We're not that close. You married into the family. You and my dad aren't even related by blood." He wasn't wrong, but that didn't make it right. I turned away, trying to find my breath. I could feel him behind me. His presence warmed the room, filled every space between us. Then I felt his hand, gentle, light, on the small of my back. A shiver cut through me. I should have pulled away. I didn't. "You don't have to be alone tonight," he whispered. I closed my eyes, hating how much I wanted that. How long I'd yearned for that, for someone to ask what I needed and wait for the answer. I turned slowly, his face inches from mine, lips parted, my breath trembling, and I kissed him. First soft, then everything exploded. I don't remember how we landed on the bed. One minute we were standing, breathing the same air. The next we were tangled in something that felt dangerous and deeply right. Like the tension between us had been building in silence for years, and finally found its voice. His touch was reverent, as if he had memorized every need I never set out. Loud, slow, aware, intentional. It wasn't just about pleasure. It was about being seen. Really seen. No shame, no pretending. For the first time in years, I felt wanted. Not for what I looked like, but for what I was. We crossed every line that night. And we didn't stop. Not right away. Even when the heat passed, we kept reaching for each other, again and again, like neither of us wanted to let the night end. And as morning light crept in through the blinds, I realized I hadn't felt this alive in so long. I lay there watching him sleep, his arm over my waist. I felt everything at once. Satisfaction, guilt, panic, and something I didn't dare name, hope. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Marcus, my uncle. "Hey Clara, I've got a surprise. I'm driving down to see you and Leo tomorrow. Just for the day, I'll be there around noon." My stomach flipped. The room spun. He was coming here, into this house, into this bed soaked in secrets, into a fire I didn't know how to put out. I sat up, pulling the sheets around me, and stared at Leo. How was I supposed to face my uncle, after what I'd just done with his son? And worse, why did a part of me want to do it one more time before he arrived? The doorbell rang at 11:49 a.m. I froze in the hallway, still dizzy from the night before. My hair pinned back, lips bare, heart thudding like a drum. Leo stood behind me, quiet. He'd offered to leave before his dad arrived, but that would have raised more suspicion. So instead, we agreed. Play it cool, smile, lie with silence. I opened the door. Marcus stood there with a wide grin. Sunglasses in, his hair, a duffel bag over his shoulder. He looked roto-y but happy. He hugged me tight. "Clara, you look amazing. Is that glow from the Vermont air, or something else?" I laughed too hard. He hugged Leo next, and when he held him a second too long, something in my chest clenched. Brunch was awkward. The three of us sat at the counter sipping orange juice, pretending we were one happy family. Marcus rambled about work, his latest fishing obsession, and the woman he'd met at the marina. Leo barely looked up. I flinched every time his knee touched mine under the table. Marcus paused once, looked at us, and said, "You two, all right?" "You're awfully quiet," Leo said. "Just tired from work," I added. "Long night." We weren't talking about night shifts or Netflix. And the way Marcus looked at me, too still, too long, sent a chill through me. He knew, but said nothing. Later, he stepped out to take a call. Leo and I stood alone in the hallway, facing each other. He whispered, "I shouldn't have come into your room." I shook my head. "I let you in." He paused. "Do you regret it?" I couldn't answer because no, I didn't regret it. I regretted the recklessness, but it had made me feel alive, not just touched, seen. That night, Marcus went to bed early. Leo came to my door one last time. I opened it. We stood in silence until I finally said, "This has to end." His eyes were glassy but calm. "Because of him?" "No," I said. "Because of me." I stepped close, touched his cheek. "I want you, but I can't lose myself to want you." He nodded slowly. With one last look, he turned and walked away. I closed the door, not because I didn't need him, but because I needed to need me more. That was the last night Leo stayed under my roof. Marcus never suspected a thing. Or if he did, he kept it to himself, and I never confessed. Just like he never apologized for other things left in the dark. Some secrets belong there. Some desires are meant to shake us awake, not stay. Now tell me in the comments, did I make the right choice? Would you have ended it too, or kept going and risked everything for passion, like this story? If it made you feel something, share it. If you know someone who lives for bold, beautiful chaos, and don't forget to subscribe for the next raw, romantic, twisted confession. Until next time, stay brave, stay curious, stay honest. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories about me. Share to your friends and tell your story in comment.